not back with Gene Autry. And over the course of probably 15 years, more than 100 different signature models, explored, or actually mined all of the iconic models that Martin had really invented over the years.
And so after artist relations, where did you go from there?
Well, I guess it was 2000, I think my date is right, around 2006. This new expansion of the factory was added, including the lobby, this space for a museum, and I took on the job of taking the initial design of the museum, which included all of these individual cases, and deciding how they would be populated and what story the museum would tell. Chris Martin was greatly involved in this too. It was really his commitment to the museum that brought this to what it is today, and he deserves a lot of credit because it wasn't an inexpensive project. We also found that as we populated the cases, we had plenty of guitars for certain time periods, but for time periods like the 1850s through the 1880s, we had very, very few instruments. So we had to go out into the marketplace and actually curate a lot of the instruments that would help us tell the story.
It's done beautifully. I mean, anybody who hasn't been to Martin's museum yet really should come. It's incredibly done. And you want to turn around and show them what Joan Baez? I mean, it's just one of the displays here, and I guess that's the moving display. That's one of the changes.
Right. This last case was always intended to be morphing into different stories, and also to tell various anniversaries of Martin. I guess Martin is in the 190th year or close to it.
November, I think, was 190.
That's right. So yeah, this is a changing exhibit. Chris Martin has a first cousin named Robert Getzel, and Robert has been really instrumental in kind of bringing the museum from where I had initially planned it to a much higher level. Robert's done a fabulous job.
It is beautiful. Being artist relations, you've dealt with a lot of the artists, probably most of them.
Right.
Do you have any funny stories you want to?
Well, you know, the whole artist relation thing started with Chris and the Gene Autry project. Gene was still alive at the time, and we had run into him out in California at the Autry Museum for Western Heritage. And we held a NAMM dinner out there, actually. So that very first model, Gene had insisted that a small royalty, 5%, be donated to the Autry Museum. And this first project set the template for future projects. After the Autry success, I proposed to Chris that we do an Eric Clapton 0042 model that would basically replicate the guitar that he was playing on MTV Unplugged in his iconic performance. So it was really the Clapton guitar that really took off. We made 461, is that right? 461 Ocean Boulevard.
Okay.
We had 461 of those guitars, and that was a lot of guitars, and they weren't inexpensive. And because of that, the sales and the charitable aspect and everything was so significant that the sales department came over and said, okay, what are we doing next? And like I said, over the course of the next 10 to 15 years, I did almost 4 signature models for every trade show, and totaling more than 100 models.
Wow.
And this was really exploring and paying tribute to so many of the different artists that played Martin guitars out of their own choice. Chris really never liked the idea of paying anybody to play our guitars, or really gifting guitars away like many of the other artist relations people do from other companies. So this was a way to really collaborate with musicians that already played Martins, and also to pay tribute to deceased musicians that were historically significant, like Hank Williams and Gene Autry.
And do you want to give a little, I guess, quick course on tone woods? I mean, I don't know how many people that are watching this would know about the tone woods. The musicians definitely will, but so different tone woods, different tops,
Right.
have different sounds.
Well, you know, running the sawmill, the sawmill was carrying close to 50 different species of wood, Ziricoti and Cocobolo and Paduke and all these different incredibly beautiful woods. And Martin was really known for mahogany, for D18s, and rosewood for D28s, and maybe a little bit of koa smattered in the middle there. I was really interested in the tonal impact of each wood, specifically back in wood, and given all the different species that we had, whenever we were cutting logs or lumber, I would have sets cut experimentally to see what they sounded like. So during that time period, we really realized that mahogany on one polarity is very crisp and clear and crystalline and favoring perhaps the treble response.